Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the 5 greatest CPE Bach recordings. Now, CPE Bach is one of those composers that you really ought to get to know. I mean, he was a genius. People had to make comparisons, on level with his father. In his day, he was considered the greater of the two. He was as good as it gets in what he did. He simply was. And his music is so rewarding and so different from his dad's. And really a fascinating guy. And it falls into fairly easily cognizable clumps. There are the solo keyboard works, particularly sonatas and some other things. And then there are chamber music. There's chamber works, sonatas of various types. And then there are concertos, mostly for keyboard, but also for oboes and cellos and a couple other things as well. And that's kind of it. There's a lot of vocal music, but his vocal music isn't well known. And he wasn't really a major vocal music composer, with one or two exceptions, which we will talk about because they are wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So let's get to it. The 5 greatest CPE Bach recordings are Sonatas and Rondos by Mikhail Pletnev on Deutsche Grammophon. Now, Pletnev, however bizarre a conductor he may be, is an amazing pianist. And he is an amazing pianist, particularly in music that allows his fancy to be set free. This happened in his glorious Scarlatti recordings, and it happens on this CPE Bach disc. It's music that isn't well known. It's music you can really dig into and have some fun with. It's unpredictable. It's quirky. It's definitely eccentric music. And Pletnev is nothing if not an eccentric. It's a fabulous, fabulous disc. And you'll hear music that you cannot believe was written in the 1750s and 1760s. It sounds like jazz. It's just phenomenal. So that's a disc you really got to hear. Also, we're talking about vocal music next, the Magnificat. Now, CPE Bach wrote a Magnificat, and Bach, his dad, wrote a famous Magnificat, and they're often coupled together. And they sound completely different from each other. It's just marvelous to see how the two composers approached the same text. And of course, we know that C.P. Bach knew his father's Magnificat probably very, very, very well. And he had no problem writing music in his own style because it's interesting. In C.P.E. Bach's day, the Enlightenment, there was a view of progress. Everything was progressing toward an end point of increasing perfection. And so while his father's music may have been great, and certainly C.P.E. Bach respected his father and his music and thought it was great, it was no longer au courant. It was not suitable to modern taste. And so he had no problem just doing his own thing and not worrying about what his father did, however great, because his own style was self-justifying. It was modern and up-to-date and original. And C.P.E. Bach was called in his own day an original genius, and he was. And you hear that in this Magnificat. It's coupled on this particular disc with Heilig ist Gott, a motet he wrote, which is absolutely lovely. It features the RAIS Kammerchor and period instrument ensemble under Rademann is the conductor. His name is Rademann. He's very, very good. It's beautifully sung, beautifully recorded on Harmonia Mundi. It doesn't have the Bach Magnificat for easy comparison, but give it a shot and you'll see exactly what I mean. Then we have the Hamburg Symphonies for strings. These are amazing pieces. Just amazing pieces. I mean, these were commissions from Baron von Swieten, the guy who told Mozart to make his Handel arrangements and who wrote the libretti for Haydn's oratorios. I mean, he was all over the place. And he was the ambassador to Hamburg, to the Free Hanseatic city at the time. And he told C.P.E. Bach, give me 6 symphonies and do anything you want to do. Just make them interesting. And that's what C.P.E. Bach did. They are staggeringly original and fabulous works. This recording with Wolfram Christ and the Stuttgart Chamber Orchestra is just gorgeous. It's on Hänssler. It's the best recording out for a bunch of reasons. It's not just a question of period instruments or not. Here it's in-tune instruments. And they use a forte piano continuo instead of a harpsichord, which drives certain period instrument people absolutely nuts. But I really like the forte piano, not least because I sort of was the person who suggested they do it that way. You know, kind of maybe. I mean, I have a personal interest, not financially, but aesthetically in this particular recording, and I think it came out marvelously. One of the reasons it's so good to hear a forte piano is because CPE Bach writes in very carefully articulated dynamics, and these dynamics are virtually unrealizable on a typical harpsichord. You know, you can't play it loud and I mean, yes, you can have additional keyboards clanging in and whatnot, but basically, if you use a forte piano, you can adapt the continuo part to the actual general volume of the instruments, and I think it comes out sounding so much better. Oh, wow. Anyway, it's a gorgeous recording, and you don't have to take my word for it. You can pick something else if you think I'm biased. I'm partial for sure. Biased? Yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, keyboard concerti. Oh, yes. Well, he wrote CPE Bach wrote 40 some odd of them, I think, or 50 some odd of them. And I mean, I talk about every single one of them in my book on CPE Bach. But the D minor concerto, Vodken 23, is absolutely fabulous, as played by Gustav Leonhardt with his own ensemble. It's unnamed, on SEON. And the wonderful thing about this particular recording, and he did it more than once, so you got to be a little careful, is that, well, he did the coupling more than once, the Bach D minor concerto. It's coupled with the Bach D minor harpsichord concerto, and it's, again, wonderful, like the Magnificat. It's fabulous to compare the two of them and hear the incredible difference in style and in expression. It's really, really cool. And Leonhardt's performance is just slamming. It's absolutely thrilling. And gosh, it's an exciting piece. It's really, really dynamic and dramatic and intense and full of sort of driving drama, which is very different from his dad's, which is also extremely intense, but it doesn't move forward in the same way that CPE Bach does. It doesn't have that, you know, eruptive sense of cause and effect. But boy, they're both, you know, extraordinary masterpieces, and Leonhardt plays them amazingly. So it's Concerto number 23 in D minor. There's more than one in D minor, so make sure you know the 23. Next, oh wow, Rondos and Fantasias with Christine Schornsheim on Capriccio. And now Schornsheim is one of the all-time great, I think, original instrument keyboard players. She's a performer of extraordinary technical ability, great imagination, and here she does Rondos and Fantasias from CPE Bach's Kenner und Liebhaber series. That's connoisseur and professional, basically. Series of sonatas and fantasias and rondos, and she takes a bunch of those, and it's the counterpoint to Pletnev's recording. She's no less imaginative, but she has selected the most beautiful sounding period instruments, a whole bevy of them, a couple, 2 or 3 of them, to play these works on, and it's absolutely luminously beautiful and fantastically expressive. It sounds like music from another world. It's one of the most beautiful period instrument keyboard discs I've ever heard. Really, really glorious. If you haven't heard it, do listen to it. You'll want to add it to your collection. It will enchant you, I guarantee. So there you have it, the 5 greatest CPE Bach recordings. If you know his music at all well, I'm very interested to have your list. If you don't know his music or only a little, you don't have to recommend 5 recordings. Do as many as you feel comfortable with, up to 5, or just listen to the ones that we're recommending and get into it, because you're really going to love it. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.